to WJ's Entertainment Podcast, Rants and Bants, with me, Maroon Burha. So I really hope you guys liked the last episode where I talked about how book adaptations should not exist. I'm still not apologizing for that. And today I will be talking about something else. So I don't know if this would be considered controversial or something that people agree with or people don't agree with. I don't know, and it's hard to say if I care. That's a hard take to say that I don't care, but I'm sorry, I really don't. I will be talking about TV shows and how they should stay short and sweet, and if you prolong it for more than 5 to 6 seasons, I think it's a little ridiculous. So, let's start. Let's start with why I think this. I think TV shows can sometimes just absolutely lose the plot of what they're doing. Like, okay, I'm going to be saying I love the show to death, and I have another episode where I'll probably be talking about this more in depth. Grey's Anatomy. I love Grey's Anatomy to death. I'll probably talk about the characters and stuff like that in the plot like in another episode. I love Grey's Anatomy to death. But that is one show that should have ended ages ago. It should have ended the longest time ago. When I tell you that Grey's Anatomy has been going on since I was a child. Like, I think it started in 2005. I was born in 2004. Like, we need to do the math here. And obviously, and to be really honest, I didn't start watching Grey's Anatomy until like a year ago, or like 2 years ago when we got into quarantine. Did not start watching Grey's Anatomy until then. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous because that show is now in its 18th season. I thought the entire show was ridiculous just because off of the fact that it's 18 seasons long. And that's also something that, like, people are not going to be watching the show because it is like 20,000 seasons long. It doesn't make sense. It loses the plot. Let me tell you when I say loses the plot. If you haven't watched Grey's Anatomy, this doesn't even apply. That's totally fine. Grey's Anatomy started talking about point A. We're on point 300,000. From A to 300,000. Now, let's connect these dots. And it's fine with Grey's Anatomy because Grey's Anatomy has always been more like character driven, meaning that it didn't have a set plot. It was always going to be those doctors' lives in that hospital. So it could kind of change with the new characters coming and the old ones leaving. That's fine. So it kind of works. But some of these shows, they are not, like, they're not character driven. So it's kind of weird when the plot just like drags on for 20,000 years. They just lose the plot. They lose the plot. They lose people who are going to watch it. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, that's just how I feel. Plot driven. And also executing it really well instead of just letting it, like, drag on was the Avatar, the last Airbender. If we're going to be going on this podcast for the whole year, I'm going to tell you from now on, me and Avatar Last Airbender, like, The Legend of Korra, this is like a different story, but I'm really obsessed with those shows. Like, I've been watching them since I was a kid, and I rewatch them whenever I can. I read the comics. I am a super fan, but that's besides the point. But, like, basically, if you don't know the plot of the Avatar Last Airbender, it's basically the Avatar, the master of all the elements, water, earth, fire, and air. Basically, he's the one who has, like, balance, and he kind of, like, helps out, like, the world, like, balance out the world, and, like, it's evil and everything. And he disappeared for 100 years, and the world basically fell into chaos, and the Fire Nation colonized the other nations, da 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 da, you know, just chaos and just imbalance and just it was just terrible. It was horrible. It was nasty. It was a mess. And basically, and the plot pretty much shows like him, you know, training and fighting to defeat the Fire Lord in the last season. Now, there were like 1,000 plots that was going on during this show. It's basically like the plot was the Avatar needs to beat the Fire Lord. Like, we could have 10,000 plots going on, but that's going to be the end point at the end of the day. Like, that's what it is. And at the end of the day, like, they did execute that, but they did leave a bunch of things like unfinished. Like, one of the characters, we don't know where like one of the characters' mother went. It was implied that she was dead. Then the literally last line of the last episode, it was like, where my mom at? Now, I have a bone to pick with that, but that's totally fine. It's at the end of the day, that was not the main plot. That was a subplot. And actually, I take it back when I say I had a bone to pick with that. I don't have a bone to pick with that. They did really well. They started publishing comics to kind of show what happened like later on. Obviously, not all these children are gonna be reading the damn comics. Those comics, they're not for everyone either, because sometimes some of you are dense. So that is another conversation for another day. But you see my point? Like, an Avatar Last Airbender wrapped up pretty well. They did what they had to do in them 3 seasons. At the end of the day, the Avatar, he took care of the Fire Lord. I'm sorry, that's like, I don't think the spoiler, because if you haven't watched the Avatar Last Airbender like until now, like, you a child born in like seniors now, most of you are born in 2003, 2004. Like, it's okay. Anyways, but like, and then it's spin-off show, The Legend of Korra. The Legend of Korra, this is why a lot of people fight about The Legend of Korra. The Legend of Korra is not plot-driven. The Legend of Korra is character-driven, so that's why she has a new person to fight every single season. Person, spirit, you know what I'm saying? Same thing. And that's the thing. Like, that show could go on forever. That show could go on for 2,000 seasons, because it is not plot driven, it's character driven. Now, do I want that show to go on for 2,000 seasons? No, because I'm real. I stick to what I believe in. Now, even saying that, and even watching Grey's Anatomy, like, I still eat Grey's Anatomy up. Like, do you understand the type of mess that they pull with Grey's Anatomy to get me to watch? They introduced some really, like, my favorite characters, and they still put me in to watch. It's terrible. Like, I'm going through it. Maggie Pierce, she is a character that was introduced in like season, I want to say like the end of season 10. Now, people hate on Maggie Pierce, but you know what? Like, that's fine. That's okay. Karma will get to you, because Maggie Pierce hasn't done anything wrong in her life. Anyways, that's not the point of this podcast. That's another episode. But basically, like, you see what I'm saying? They introduce these new characters. They pull you in. They draw you in. They bring back characters that you haven't, like, an attachment to. All of a sudden, you're up until 1 in the morning. 1, 2, 3 in the morning. Binge watching these episodes. And some people are on their some people are on their, like, 10th rewatch of Grey's Anatomy. Why? Like, you start from season 1, you go up to season 10, because some of you feel like that's the end of, like, where it started being good. And that's true. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like, that's true. And that's whatever. Like, you know. But, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you have an attachment to these dumb shows. Like, get over yourself. Go away. Like, trust and believe you can find another show that has like medical drama. Now, can you find the same show and has the same attachment? Probably not. But like, why are you on your 10-3 watch of Grey's Anatomy? Thank God. It'll be okay. It will be okay. You are obviously in mourning and denial for some weird reason. Like, I don't know. Like, no, because who watches Grey's Anatomy? Like, I've watched it through one time. Yes, I started like 2 years ago, and I think that's enough. It would not have mattered if I watched that show like 3,000 years ago. Like, that show is a one watch through. That's enough. Especially it has like 18 seasons right now. Its 18th season like premiered like a few weeks ago. And I haven't even started, but that's another story. I don't even think I finished the last season. I think I got really tired towards like the end. Like, I don't think I watched the last episodes. I was just tired and annoyed. Like, one of my favorite characters left. Oh, okay. This is not gonna be a Grey's Anatomy centered episode, please. Let's reel ourselves back in. Back to my story. So that's also another thing. Like, I was saying, like, I didn't want to watch Grey's Anatomy because I thought it was ridiculous that it had like 3,000 seasons. And a lot of people think this way. Listen. Come with me, listen. What is that? Let me tell you some of these American TV shows, yeah. Some of these shows, they started in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and they still have not ended. You know what's mad? Like, I remember when I was a kid, my mom would watch these shows that she grew up watching, like General Hospital, and like The Bold and the Beautiful, and that. You know what season General Hospital is on? You know what season General Hospital is on? I had to research this one because I thought it was a joke. That show is on its 63rd season. First of all, who's watching, you guys? Like, I'm not even trying to be mean, but a lot of people have given up. Like, I know for a fact a lot of people who've been watching from then have given up. Like, I remember my mom, she used to sit and proper watch the show's clips on YouTube, trying to figure out like what happened, like, because she stopped watching like in her 20s when she used to watch it when she was when she was little. She used to watch it, and she was trying to figure out like in her, like, she stopped watching in her 20s, and when she was in her 30s and 40s, she's trying to figure out like what happened in the show. Like, let it go. She's let it go, thank God. So why can't everybody else? Because who is keeping these shows in business? What is it? We can't even cancel it and like do spin-offs anymore. We can't even do spin-offs. Like, that's like, I don't even want that, but like, that's like something I'm just like, okay, that'll be enough. That is something I can give to you. But no, y'all want to keep this show on for 20 something seasons. No, 60 something seasons. Like, it's actually, like, it's mad to see. Like, why does it have 63 seasons? Not only, I don't even care if this is plot driven, character driven, whatever driven. It's definitely lost something. It's probably lost half the characters. You're introducing new characters for this. Plot? What plot? Like, General Hospital has the same thing as Grey's Anatomy. Like, it's people in a hospital and like the mess that surrounds their stupid lives. And I remember when I was younger, I used to try to watch The Bold and the Beautiful because it used to come on TV sometimes, and I would try to watch it, and they would bring up, that's what made me upset. They would bring up like characters like, oh, Vanessa. And you know what Vanessa was from? She's from like the pilot episode. You know the pilot episode premiered in like the 60s. You think I was alive in the 60s? No. You think I'm gonna go back to research like what's going on? Yeah, but like, it's disturbing. Like, oh, Rachel, I can't believe you're back. What is Rachel doing here? I thought Rachel was dead. And they told me that Rachel was dead. Now you're reviving another plot line that I can't deal with right now. Like, I'm actually in pain thinking about how you're reviving this. That doesn't even make sense. Like, oh my gosh. Like, it's actually so upsetting, and it's actually very disturbing when you think about it. Because so, like, yeah, I don't know. It's disturbing. Another thing I have with these shows is I just think that they should end. Look, some of these shows, The showrunners are fighting for their lives trying to revive it. They're fighting. They are fighting for their lives trying to revive it. Which show am I talking about? Let's give an example. Like there's 1,000 examples, but I can't I'm just my mind is blank. But one show I can remember is Riverdale. Riverdale has like 6 seasons. Is it? I think the 7th one has premiered or something, or the 6th one has premiered, or the 7th one has premiered. One or the other. Let me tell you something. I used to be like the biggest Riverdale fan. I thought that first season. Let me tell you, nobody was doing it like that. The first season of Riverdale. Everything about that show, like the cliffhanger that they dropped at the end, just the whole thing. Everything was perfect. Like the ships were good. The ships were doing what they had to do. If you are a Barchi stan, like that's good for you. I think you're weird, but that's fine. Let me tell you why I stopped watching Riverdale when it started getting like. For me, it's just like it just didn't hit the same for me. Maybe I was busy with school. Like I just didn't watch it. Like I stopped watching. Like I watched the first and second, and then when they tried to do the third, I couldn't do the third. Or did I try to do the third? Like now I'm really trying to remember because 10,000 things were happening at once. Like I don't even know if Riverdale is character driven or plot driven. All I know is it's driven. It's just going. It's just going and going and going and going. Everybody's fighting for their lives because the thing that's going on is just mess. All I remember is I did watch that episode, that infamous episode. He was in jail and who was it? I had to drop out of school and sell drugs at 4th grade. Yeah. What that you haven't experienced the up and down of high school football. What? My chest, bro. Like I was fighting. What's going? I don't know what season that was. Maybe it was the 3rd season, or the 4th. I don't know what's going on. Like I proper stopped watching it religiously. The 4th season. No, the 3rd season. My bad. Cause like it started getting into like cult stuff, and then I tried to follow along, and it wasn't even that the cult stuff like disturbed me. Like that's totally fine, but I would just like. I just couldn't watch because I just thought it was really ridiculous. Because I don't know what the plot was. I understand it's character driven, it's not plot driven, and I had to like remind myself that. But I couldn't watch it. It was getting ridiculous at this point. Like, and then even like the first season, like some of the lines and stuff like that, they were so cringy. Like I just liked how it was going. I did not like the dialogue. Like what was it? I remember to this day, and I thought they ate that. Like I thought it was so good. Now I'm looking back, I'm like, what? When Bughead was like, I don't know if that's Cole or Dylan Sprouse. I don't know. I'm not obsessed with them, so figure it out. But he was like, "Have you seen this thing on my head? I'm weird. I'm a weirdo." Blah 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 blah. I'm not like any of you. Blah blah blah. Da 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 da. I'm a weirdo. Blah blah blah. Da da da. I don't care. I don't know. And I thought they ate that. I thought that they were doing so well. That was the most that's the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. And also like. No, it's just disturbing. Like I don't know. Like everything about that show is just disturbing. But that's besides the point. Like you see what I'm saying? That show should have ended a long time ago. You know what? That show should have ended after its 2nd season. I don't remember what happened in the 2nd season, but I think that's what it should have ended. Obviously, people are gonna be like, "Oh my god! Like, why did it end? Like that show is so good. It brought feelings of nostalgia, whatever. Like people can even read the comics. Like people are watching this. Like shut up. Like it's not bringing you nostalgia. It's bringing you new, happy, horny feelings. Like." Get out of here. Also, like, yeah, just like no, because something needs to end. Like, I think it's people they want to keep watching something. If you want to really keep watching something, like, watch things that actually are good. Like, you want to watch terrible things and then complain. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like, people aren't watching the right things and giving them the right attention. When I complain, like if Riverdale was to end, like nobody would care. Like I think we're begging and pleading. Everybody's on their knees begging for Riverdale to end. But there are some shows that don't need to end. Like I didn't even watch Grand Army. I know. Da 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 da. Go watch it. I will. Be quiet. I didn't even watch that show, but why did they cancel it? That had like the best ratings. So I don't know. That's besides the point. I think I'm really leaving it. But if you want a show, like, oh my god, bro, okay, like, how can we watch, like, how can we stop watching a show, like, after, like, just one season? How is it possible? Big Little Lies exist. Best show of all time. Are you dumb? My life will never be the same. After I watch that show, like, my life will never be the same. Even the second season 8, like, I was kind of just like, I know I watched it with my mom, and I know my mom hated the second season because she thought it was just like, it was dragging it. But the second season 8, like, the first season, the second season, like, good acting, like, that show is completely plot driven. So once they resolve the plot, I mean, that was good. So I don't really mind. Perfect show all around, and it did not become a laughing stock like every other show. Like, do you know how hard it is for me to stand with Grey's Anatomy stan? Now I'm putting this on the internet. Like, now it's gonna be like a thing. But do you know how hard it is for me to stand with Grey's Anatomy stand in front of the people I know? I'm trying to, and also it's hard because I got into Grey's Anatomy like way later. Like, I'm trying to revive all my friends who just quit the show like back in like its 9th season. I'm just like, no, wake up, please, can we watch the show together? Wake up, this isn't you. It is you because you guys are smart. It's like, who am I to even come back to Grey's Anatomy like when it's it's over? Like Grey's Anatomy itself, like, I know I said it's character driven, so it doesn't really matter if it lost the plot. Like, it lost the plot because why are we talking about COVID in this? Like, I'm living COVID. I don't want to see COVID on TV. All these shows that are bringing COVID on TV, like, may God deal with you because I don't want to see that. I don't want to see, like, that's an escape. That's an escape from reality. Like, I see, like, I know COVID, like, it's a public health crisis. Like, you know, like, who would they be if they're not talking about it? Like, no, act normal. I don't want to see that. If you have to act like Joe Biden isn't even your president in the show, like, act like it. Be oblivious. Please. But, yeah, like, just don't, like, I don't know if I really resolved anything in this episode. I don't even know. I think I started talking at point A, and then I just lost myself in, like, point 3000 again. Just like all these TV shows I'm talking about. But, yeah, if you guys enjoyed my rambling and my crying and screaming and shaking, please leave a thumbs up and comment down below what you guys want me to talk about in the future. I will also be making a poll in the future of like what shows you guys want me to talk about. Shows. Maybe if you guys could just let me watch movies. If you guys put horror movies down for me, like, may God deal with you. Like, I don't watch those movies, thrillers, like anything with knives and stuff like that. I'm so sorry. Like, I will not sit down and watch something that's gonna not entertain me. So, like, if I want to purposely scare myself, like, I'll go outside. This world is scary, so I'll go on the news. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that to me. So yeah, this has been real, and you guys will hear from me in the next episode. Okay, bye.